In today's video, I'll be showing you a complete guide on how to get sub 15 on a 3x3 Rubik's Cube. I'm going to divide this guide into a series of steps. This should be a very easy guide to follow along with, and by the end of it, hopefully you will be sub 15 on 3x3. The first step you need to know to be able to get sub 15 on 3x3 is beginner OLL and full PLL. So if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say beginner or advanced OLL or PLL, here's what I mean. So this is an advanced OLL case, one where the cross is not fully solved, but we can still solve it in one algorithm. So for advanced OLL, there are 57 algorithms. So each case is one of the 57. For example, which solves the entire yellow face with one algorithm. However, in beginner OLL, we solve this case, which is the same case, with two algorithms. So first we make the cross, like this, and then we solve this cross case to solve the yellow, which solves our yellow face. Now for PLL, this is an advanced PLL case, which is the JA perm. And if I knew all 21 advanced PLL algorithms, I would solve it like this, which finishes solving the cube within one algorithm. But if I only knew beginner PLL, I would solve it in two algorithms. So this consisting of this algorithm, and then I'm left with a edge orientation algorithm. So two algorithms. So to get sub 15, I'd recommend learning advanced PLL and beginner OLL. For PLL, you only need to learn 21 algorithms, and for OLL, you only need to learn somewhere around 10. For step 2 of this guide, we're going to be talking about look ahead. Now, if you don't know what look ahead is, I'm going to give a brief explanation, but if you're still not understanding it, I recommend watching this JPerm video, or I'll also link the video in the description, because it gives a great in-depth analysis of look ahead and how to do it. But for now, I'm just going to give you an example. So to start, I'm going to inspect my entire white cross during inspection. That way, I don't have to look at it while I'm solving. So instead, while I'm solving my white cross, I can look at my first F2L pair. So in this case, I'm going to look at these two. So I'm going to insert this, and then that leaves me to an easy algorithm, which I can just execute immediately after I finish my cross. But while I'm solving this pair, I shouldn't need to look at it. So instead, while I'm solving it, I'm going to instead look at my next pair and not look at the pair I'm solving. So while I'm solving this one, I'm going to look at this pair right here. So I just went straight into solving it, which I did have a little bit of fumble, but you're supposed to be able to do something similar to that. So while I'm solving this pair, I'm going to look at my next one, and it's so on until I solve all four pairs. So I'll do another example here. So while I'm solving this one, I'll be looking at these two. And there you have it. So that case wasn't great because I accidentally solved diagonal pairs, which you shouldn't do, by the way. But other than that, that's how you do look ahead. The third step in being able to get sub 15 is using good finger tricks. So before we start talking about finger tricks, we should talk about the home grip. So home grip is where you hold your two thumbs like this on these edges, or you can put it on these like areas in between those four pieces. And then you can have three fingers on the back, your pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger, and each covering one of these pieces. And then I use my pinkies on the bottom as support. Sometimes I'll also have my pointer fingers on top of the cube. So good finger tricks include flicks, like this, instead of using your whole hand and turning the puzzle like this. So you want to use your fingers rather than your wrists. Another neat finger trick you can do is called a pinch move. A pinch move is where, say I'm executing a J-perm. This is what I would do to execute that with a pinch move. I would pinch this to start over, I would pinch this piece, bring it back, and then I would let go of my pinch and move that with my thumb and finish the algorithm. So there are many algorithms where you can use a pinch move. For example, Soon's, like that, and I can pinch it. Anyway, so if you find a way to implicate pinch moves in your solves, it can make your algorithms a lot faster. So the basic finger tricks are your top layer, or your U, with your pointer finger, your D with your ring finger, your R with your 3 fingers like this, L, same type of thing, F moves can either be done one of 2 ways, which is you can bring your fingers up like this and flick with like this, or you can use your thumb and you can just push it up. B moves, I regrip. I don't know if there's a better finger trick for this, but this is what I do. I am here, and then I regrip down here. M moves is where you use your middle and ring finger. If you're double flicking, you can go ring finger and middle finger flick. Or if you're just single, then you can use your middle finger. S moves, which you won't see a lot, which is where I regrip and use my pointer finger. And yeah, that's basically it. Another key element for finger tricks is regrips. Regrips can either happen in the middle of algorithms, at the end of algorithms, or at the beginning of algorithms. So for example, for a Soon, I would have my home grip and I would regrip for my Soon. Or that was, yeah, anti-Soon, but either way. So in your solves, you don't want to have very many regrips. So it's a lot faster if I just brought one finger up rather than my whole hand. So that's something I'm trying to work on, but you would want to eliminate as many regrips from your solves as possible. So for step 4, we need to look at the cube you're using. Some people are held back by their cubes and need an upgrade. For example, it's a lot harder to get sub 15 with a Rubik's brand cube rather than a speed cube. Or if you're using something like this. Now, if you're on a budget, I recommend getting something like the RS3M 2020 or 2021, which is great for its price. It's around $9 and is so good. Or if you're on a more flexible budget, you could get the Guhong Pro for $20, which I don't believe is the best $20 cube, but it is definitely a good one. If you're on a budget of $30, you could either get a Tornado V3, which I think is a very good cube, especially for beginners. Or I'd recommend getting an RS3M, which is also a great choice. However, if you're not on a budget, I'd recommend getting either the GAN 12, which is this one, the GAN 15, or the GAN 16. All are great puzzles for the price. If you want to figure out more of what cube fits you for your price or budget, then I recommend watching this CubeHead video, which I'll also link in the description. If you want to just look and get your own cube, a good cube that will help you get sub 15 quick is one with a dual adjustment system like this one. Some cubes that also can improve times are cubes with maglev, which is basically a repelling magnet system. I'll put a picture on screen right now. Maglev acts as an alternative to springs and makes your puzzle a little bit faster. Another thing you could be looking for is magnets, which this one's kind of hard to see, but this one has pretty good invisible magnets that are also adjustable. and you can fit to your tensioning style. Another thing that matters about your cube is your setup. So I'll link a description about Rubik's Cube setups in the description. So for step 5, we're going to be talking about F2L efficiency. So what F2L efficiency means is that we solve all of our F2L cases within 8 moves or less. So an example of this is if I had this case right here with these 2 pieces, I could solve this within 8 moves like that. Some of the problems you may encounter when trying to solve your F2L efficiently is cases that are impossible to solve in 8 moves or less. So for these cases, you just want to learn 11 move solutions. So for example, for this case, which is not a great case, you can solve something like this. Now I know that's not the best algorithm. I encourage you to research your own algorithms, and you can find some great algorithms in this video by Cubehead or by visiting this website. So for step 6, we're going to be talking about TPS, or turns per second. So your TPS is basically how many times you're able to turn the Rubik's Cube within a second. So for example, that's probably about 9 TPS. Many believe that your TPS has to be extremely fast for you to pass the sub 15 barrier. However, it doesn't have to be fast at all. Having a slow TPS can give you many advantages when solving. For example, you can really look and observe the cube better, leading to faster times and more efficient solves. TPS can also really help develop look ahead, which is very essential for being sub 15 or even sub 12. So an example solve with slower TPS, and I'm still going to get 15 seconds. So the slower your TPS is, the more efficient you are, which can lead to faster solves sometimes. While sometimes higher TPS can lead to slower solves because of inefficiency. Now I'll demonstrate a solve turning as fast as I possibly can. See, I just messed up, so I get a DNF here. Finally, let's move on to step 7. Step 7 might be the most important step out of any of these steps yet. Guided practice. So sometimes practicing your cube and getting faster doesn't mean just repeatedly solving over and over again. Sometimes it means just solving F2L and then stopping the timer. For example, so to be sub 15, I recommend aiming for a sub 8 or 8 second F2L, a 3 or 4 second OLL, and a 3 second PLL. If you achieve these barriers, then you can easily surpass sub 15. So for example, this is just me practicing a random OLL case and seeing how fast I can do it. So if you're ever doing OLL or PLL cases, you can start with your wrist on the timer, since it would be in the middle of your solve. And for PLL, if you incorporate all these steps, you will easily be able to pass the sub 15 barrier, and maybe even the sub 12 barrier. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to like it, subscribe, and maybe even share it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.